Hey Year 9, welcome to lesson 3 of music. So today we are going to look at major and minor scales, but there was something I wanted to talk to you about just briefly first. So I had a look at music first. Now, I am doing this on the 17th of June, so we're only halfway through week 2. But in terms of what people have done with music first, bearing in mind I have set you something on music first on both weeks so far, this is as it stands right now. So 2 people have not logged on yet. Okay, there are clear instructions on week 1, and they're also floating around Instagram. If you speak to other people in the class, you will find, or you can message the page and I will get back to you, or email me. But there are 2 people, not naming and shaming, but 2 people that haven't logged on yet. And there are 4 of you who haven't done the online learning tests. I told you I could see. I know exactly who has done it, and I know exactly who hasn't yet. I will be on to you. If you haven't, you're going to struggle, to be honest, if you haven't got like to grips with the stuff that we're doing. However, top users for extra brownie points so far, according to today. In 3rd place, Alex with 10. In 2nd place, Liam with 13. And with a massive 19 tests done, Anya. Well done. So I told you I could see what you were doing, and I meant it. Can you please, if you haven't already, you need to get onto music first. I am not setting you any extra music first work to do this week, but it does mean that you need to get on and you need to be looking at the things that I've asked you to do so far, which are notes on the stave and note lengths. If you are having any problems, email me. You can get it on your mobile phone. I gave you like really clear instructions. Well, I thought they were week 1, so you might need to look back at those. Okay, moving on. So, week 3, facts that we are looking at that are in your book. So, a major scale sounds uplifting or happy or bright. A minor scale sounds dull or sad. Right, before we move on, I am going to just play you a major scale and a minor scale. These are just boring scales, but it gives you the idea of what they sound like. Okay, so a scale is just a bunch of notes that go up and then down. Okay, so this is a major scale. This is on the sort of bright, uplifting. Here we go. Okay, that is all it is. Same up as down. And this is a harmonic minor scale. We're going to look at minor scales as well. This one sounds more dull. Some people say sounds a bit sort of Egyptian. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that is major scale, minor scale. You can always go back and replay that if you need to, or find them on YouTube just to get an idea. But basically, pieces of music are made up from scales. Okay, so you use the notes that belong to that particular scale. So we've looked at major scales. I've just played you a minor scale as well. A semitone. A semitone is the space between 2 chromatic notes. So between a C and a C sharp, or a D and a D sharp. I will show you on the keyboard on the next slide. A tone, should have underlined that as well, sorry. A tone is 2 semitones. Okay. The spaces between the notes in any major scale are tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. This will all become clear on the next couple of slides. The spaces between the notes in a harmonic minor scale are tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone and a half, semitone. Promise it will all become clear, hopefully. Right, first of all, before we do anything else, can you take 5 minutes? If you don't already have one somewhere, you don't need to draw on it or write on it, but what you do need is a diagram of a keyboard with the notes written on like this. So you can either screenshot this, but I would have in your book somewhere a diagram of a keyboard. It makes it easier to count. That is literally all it is. So can you pause this now and take 5 minutes to either find and print a piano diagram or draw the one out below. 5 minutes, go. Okay, so hopefully you have now drawn that. It would just be really good for reference. I don't really mind how neat and tidy it is, but as long as you've got it. Right, so the first thing to note is what a tone and a semitone are. Okay, a semitone is the interval between two notes which are adjacent, so they are directly next to each other, and this includes the white notes and the black notes. So, for example, the brown ringed notes are a semitone apart, so G to G sharp. That is a semitone because that note there is directly touching that one there. Okay? It could be the G to the F sharp. Or over here, it could be E to the F. It's not always to a black note because these two notes, look, are directly next to each other. Okay? Got to imagine if these black notes came all the way down, the reason they don't is because they'll get in the way, but that's basically what they are. Yeah? So anything that is directly next to another note, that is called a semitone. Those notes are a semitone apart. Okay? A tone, I already told you, is 2 semitones. So if we look at the green rings, F to G is a tone, is a whole tone, because it goes 1 semitone, 2 semitones. You have to include the note that it starts with. Okay, so from the F, 1 semitone, 2 semitones. So F to a G is a whole tone apart. Over here, D flat here, or C sharp, they are the same note, okay, just called something different. So D flat here, up to the E flat, is a whole tone because you've got 1 semitone to the D and then another semitone to the E flat. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, so a semitone, literally, a semitone is the smallest gap you get in Western music. Okay, the space between 2 notes. On a guitar it would be between 1 fret and the next on the same string. Okay, but on a piano it's the notes that are right next to each other. Okay, so here, a tone is 2 semitones apart. Okay, like that. All right. Okay, let's move on. Okay, major scale. So the way you know what notes are in a major scale is they go tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So you can see you've got a C to a D is a whole tone because it's got 2 movements. Then you've got another tone, 2 movements. Then you've got a semitone, which is just 1 movement. Then you've got another tone, 2 movements, another tone, 2 movements, another tone, 2 movements, and a semitone. So the pattern for a major scale is tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Can you please, in your book, can you copy that down? Brilliant. Okay. Next. So using that system of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, you should now be able to write out a major scale in any key. So what I would like you to do is pause the video and try and write out the notes for the following keys. The picture of the keyboard's there to help you. So you are going to write out F major, G major, and F sharp major. The only rule you need to think about is if it's F major, you start on F. Okay, start on F. So you go tone, tone, semitone, etc. Okay, so 5 minutes, or as long as you need. Can you write out the notes for those scales, please? Okay, right, here are your answers. If you can mark these, that would be great. If you get any wrong, try and figure out why. Okay, I've put E sharp F here. E sharp is actually F, but because you're in F sharp major, it should be called E sharp. But either of those is absolutely fine. Okay, right, let's move on. Minor scale. A minor scale, that's the one that sounds a little bit Egyptian. So again, in your book or on paper for your folder, can you please write down the pattern for the minor scale? It's tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone and a half, which is the equivalent of 3 semitones, and a semitone. Okay, write that down. Okay, so this is an A minor scale. So between the A and the B, it's a tone. The next note is a semitone away, so that would be C. Then you've got another tone, so 2 movements to the D. Then you've got another tone to the E. Then you've got a semitone to the F. Then you've got a tone and a half, so that's 1, 2, 3 movements to give you the G sharp, which is just here, and then a semitone to the A. You may need to just go over that again. You've got to own this information, okay? So take a few minutes and just go over that, see if you can see the pattern. Okay, that's not easy. It's not easy. Scales aren't easy, but it's a mathematical thing, okay? It's a rule and it's maths, it's just counting. So using the system of tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone and a half, semitone, you should be able to now write out any minor key that is given to you. So can you please in a minute pause the video and try and write out the notes to the following keys? Picture the keyboards there to help. Count really carefully. Don't forget, if it's E minor, you start on the E. Okay, D minor and G minor. Okay. Okay, right, here are the notes. Again, mark it through. E minor, D minor, G minor. Mark them off. If you haven't got them right, now you've got the answers, just use the keyboard, use your finger to look and count. Okay, so the E minor, E, you need a tone, so semitone, tone takes you to F sharp. They need semitone, so it just goes directly to the next one, to G. Okay, have a good go through, just check them really carefully. If you can get this, that's a massive task this week, honestly. Okay, that's the end of today's lesson. I am setting no music first homework unless you haven't done the tests that I've already asked you to do. So notes on the scale, notes on the stave or note length. It was really tough. You may well have to go over extra bits. Keep your notes safe, keep them looking great so they're easy to understand when we get back together again. There will be a recap test at the start of next week, so make sure you understand today's lesson. If you don't understand week 3, week 4 is going to be hard work. Okay? Email me if you've got any problems. Normally the GCSE groups sort themselves out with a chat either on Insta or WhatsApp, so that you can talk to each other, particularly about music stuff. So pretty much every year 10, 11 group that I've ever had have done that. So if somebody wants to take the ball by the horns and set up a group music chat, that would be amazing. Right, I think, yes, that is it. So be good, be safe, make sure you message me with any problems, any queries, and I can go over it again. But keep using this video and catch up with Music First if you haven't done it. Take care, see you soon, bye.